Berkshire Station, and Reading Rowing Club with Mary Douglas on the Bucks Station.
So as we said, we've got the first singles race here, the Aspirational singles. Looks like the Cardiff University sculler, Hayes, just setting her sights maybe about a length, a little bit of clear water perhaps, on the sculler from Reading Rowing Club, Douglas. Now, this is one you'll definitely know better than I. Racing in a single. I think so difficult to judge how the racing's going sometimes, because it's much easier to change speed in a single than it is in a bigger boat like an 8 or even a coxless 4. So actually, you've got to be very responsive to the racer next to you, or even just behind you, because it doesn't take much for them to change their speed. And someone might have a great sprint at the finish, and you've got to be prepared for that at all times. So really important to keep your eyes on the competition and make sure that they are where you want them.
I think in my experience, a single as well is just as much mental battle with yourself as it is a physical battle with your opponent, because there is only you in that boat. There is only you thinking of what's happening, what you could change to make your boat speed increase, how to respond to your opponent. So there's lots and lots of things to think about. Arguably, in my opinion, one of the hardest boats to race purely for that factor, because it is a complete mental battle with yourself. But equally, one of the most rewarding as well, because you get the change of boat speed directly. You change something, you can feel the change automatically.
And we're actually catching up now quite quickly with the races getting started. We've also had the next heat of the Aspirational singles start. Atkinson of Star and Arrow and Hall of Wadham College, both of which kind of my boat clubs, so I'm not sure who to support here. So Star and Arrow is the development side of Leander Club, Wadham College another Oxford college. Looks like a really good race here between these two scullers that have just come off the start. Looks like Wadham College just leading the sculler from Star and Arrow as they come down towards our commentary box.
Looking like a very different race from the last one, because there's still overlap between the boats here as they come past the commentary box.
I've actually seen this Wadham sculler out on the Isis River in Oxford a lot this last year while I've been coaching another one of the college crews, and a very difficult place to row the Isis. Not a lot of water, very short stretch, and incredibly busy. So good to see her here, really putting in a good race against Atkinson from Star and Arrow. She looks to have about 3/4 of a length lead at the moment. I think officials really doing their best here to get the regatta timetable back on track after the break for that Coxless 4 incident earlier on. Looks like the third heat of Aspirational singles, Isle of Ely versus Walbrook. on the start and also ready to get underway, just a minute or two behind the schedule. So just catching back up now with our schedule. Still a great race from Wadham and Star and Arrow. I'd still say there's overlap in it, so absolutely anything could happen in this singles race. And you know, this is the bit that's hard. What are you thinking about? You don't have crewmates, you don't have, like you say, someone shouting at you. So what are you thinking about at this point?
How much it hurts normally. No, I think it is just keeping, particularly in my experience in a single, you turn to the technical focuses that you've had in your training with your coach, really focusing on what you can do to change that boat speed. And as I said, it's a very responsive boat, so anything that you do get immediate response from, which is, you know, can show a good thing, a good change and a bad change. But really honing in on those technical focuses. It is a very technical boat. You've got a lot of opportunities to miss places, to lose speed and gain speed. So I think both of those crews will be focusing back on what they've been working on to gain any speed they can.
And here we also have shots coming through now of the start of that third heat. Isle of Ely, Magna versus Gallagher from Walbrook Rowing Club. They're just coming down towards the end of the island. Looks like one of the crews being warned there by the umpire. Again, a little bit of difficulty with the steering, and I think very difficult to, be focused on your start, be focused on getting those hard, fast strokes in, and also make sure that you're comfortable and you're confident in your line. And you can just see those scullers now hitting the wind as they come off the end of the island. And that's the sculler from Walbrook in your picture there. So as this race of the singles progresses down towards us in the commentary box, we're saying goodbye to Joe for the time being, and we have Martin Unsworth joining me now, coming into this very close race in the Aspirational singles.
Yeah, good afternoon, Zoe. Beautiful afternoon here. Henley Women's Regatta 2018. A gorgeous day and some really close racing in this singles race. As they pass our commentary box, they're pretty much level. You got the overhead shot there from the drone. They're moving away from us now towards the Copus offices and heading towards the enclosure, which is about the halfway point.
Absolutely neck and neck in this race at the moment. This is another great race coming down the course between these two singles. Really great to see these two scullers just slugging it out here. I'd say maybe a foot in it at the moment.
Looks to me as if the Berkshire Station sculler probably just got her bow ball ahead there, had a push as they're going through the enclosures, and there's probably now about 2 or 3 feet in this.
Yeah, so it's the sculler from Isle of Ely just holding on there, putting a few feet into her competitor from Walbrook Rowing Club.
Got another heat of the singles coming up next. That's Tideway Sculler School, Wedderburn, and Oxford Brookes University, Wilford Dunton. Then we move into the academic eights. The regatta running probably about 5 or 6 minutes late. Coming up then in the academic eights, it's Tyne against City of Bristol, Vesta against Bridge North, Tideway Sculler School A against Vesta, and City of Oxford Grosvenor, race number 39. That's been pulled forward, so that will go straight after the race number 35. So looking then at the drone, and it's the sculler from the Isle of Ely that's just pushed ahead now. It's probably about half a length as they're moving away now down towards the finish. A delay in the timetable because of that crash earlier, but they got the timetable catching up a bit, and it's, what would you say that is now, Zoe? Probably half a length?
Yeah, maybe 3/4 at most, but absolutely fantastic race from these two scullers. It's pretty much matched stroke for stroke here. You know, nothing's much changed as we've come down, and I think this will come down to which sculler has the most in them to sprint that last bit home.
And as they head into the home stretch, the sculler from Walbreak looks to have just upped her rate there to try and get back on terms with Isle of Ely, coming up towards the closing stages, and be a good finish this one.
Really, really gutsy rowing here on show from that Walbrook sculler. You can just see how aggressive they are coming down towards the line. Yeah, really going, both crews here, really going for it. Looks like Isle of Ely just holding on. Very, very close race from those two scullers. We will get you the result from that as soon as we can.
It's back down to the start for the last of these batch of academic single sculls. Tideway Sculler School Wedderburn. She's on the Berkshire station, and B. Wilford Dutton of Oxford Brookes University is on the Buckinghamshire station.
And it's nice to see that moment of calm now before the start from both these scullers, just looking around, getting their line, getting themselves ready. They'll still be waiting for an umpire's launch to pull up alongside and get ready to start. But difficult time. You have to stay calm, but not so calm that you're not ready to race. You know, you've just got to balance your feelings, balance that readiness to go. But nice to see this moment, because one that you don't see very often.
And of course, off the start, they'll burst then and head down towards the back of Temple Island, and it just gives the impression there of being that much narrower than the rest of the course. You've got obviously the booms on one side, and you've got the island on the other, and we know that unless you're really concentrating hard, you can very easily have a mishap. So it looks like we're just waiting for an umpire launch there. The next race we've heard has been brought forward. Race 39 was scheduled to be City of Oxford Grosvenor Rowing Club Chester A. That's race number 39. That was going to go ahead of Tyne against City of Bristol, Vesta against Bridge North, and Tideway Sculler School A, Vesta Rowing Club B. That's the academic 8th. So Zoe, you get to do a bit of commentating off the back of a launch, I understand.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's my first time on that tomorrow. Oh, maybe Sunday. I think Sunday. I think tomorrow I'm in the control box, and then on Sunday I'm into the launch. So early start both days, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me at some point down the course.
And a record entry this year. I think we were talking earlier, Zoe, about just how this regatta has moved on and how absolutely huge it is now, and how very grateful everybody is to the sponsorship and also all the volunteers, a huge army of volunteers that make this regatta possible. And it's absolutely beautiful down here. Plenty of people on the bank, lots and lots of people around. Probably one of the busiest Fridays here I can remember.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see, you know, how many people are out, and like you say, how many crews are coming from overseas, which goes to show the caliber of the regatta. You know, you don't get crews coming from Mexico unless it's something that they they're really serious about. I think it's fantastic to see, some of those changes in Henley Women's and how that will play out with competitors coming over the next few years. I think interesting also now to see more and more competitors coming from overseas that are just coming for Henley Women's regattas. I think, 10, 15 years ago, quite often American crews would come over, but mostly they'd come over to race it here and to race at Henley Royal. So more and more crews now coming just for Henley Women. So this is the event that they're planning for. This is the event that they are, really focusing on and really targeting in their season.
And certainly the town has been very, very busy. I was out the other night talking to some American parents. They'd come over with their daughter's college. They brought 3/8 over and thoroughly enjoying the regatta. I think they raced at Reading last week, so that would be something a lot of them would do, is to try and get a race in on the Thames before the Henley Women's.
Yeah, absolutely. And Reading's a great place to do that. Side-by-side racing gives a bit of a chance to get your teeth into something, having flown over here.
Side-by-side racing on the Thames. Unique. Would the Americans have a lot of experience of side-by-side racing, would you say?
Unless they have a dual race with another college, probably more 6 lanes than side-by-side.
Okay, and as you can see, they are off. Tideway Sculls School nearest to us on the Berkshire station. And Wilfred Dutton of Oxford Brookes University over on the Buckinghamshire station at the top of your screens. And the drone there got a shot of them going down the back of Temple Island. Brookes at the moment by not too much, maybe a third of a length.
Yeah, like you say, a third of the length to Brookes, just as they're coming up to the first piles and onto the booms. But after that start, Sculler's coming back through. I'd say she's taking maybe a foot per stroke, and she looks like she's just got herself level now.
And another very, very close start. We've had very close races in this batch of singles races.
Yeah, this has been some fantastic racing going on here. It's going to be great to see how this progresses over the next couple of days. Really, really good standard of sculling here from both these crews and from some of the predecessors in the earlier heats. Still really nothing in it. Both crews look like they're at a similar stroke rate, pretty much matched stroke for stroke, bow ball for bow ball.
And if anything, Scullers seem to have just kept maybe a truer course there, but she's level, I would say, as they're going past our commentary box. We're just over a quarter of the way, coming up to a third of the way down this 1500 metre course here at Henley Women's Regatta, and they're passing in front of me now, and they are level.
Yeah, maybe a couple of feet to Brookes, but another great race. Both scullers looking pretty confident in their rhythm and in their strokes. And this is now coming into the middle of the race, so this is the part where you've got to settle down a little bit and put together your best rate, your best rhythm, your best speed for the middle part. I think Brookes just about squeezing ahead now. Looks like a slightly longer stroke, so a little bit more time under the water from her. And that's just pulled her out to maybe 3/4 of a length.
Yeah, she definitely had a push there just as she went past us. It looked as if they were level. But as I called it level, she put a bit of a push on, and now she's stretching out, and she's got a clear boat's length lead over her competitor as they're entering the enclosures.
Like we said earlier, this can become a real war of attrition. It's just you, just your thoughts, just your mind and your technique to focus on. no other crewmates to do it for, no coxes screaming at you, no one behind you or in front of you. So really important just to stay focused and to stay in the moment, not get distracted. Looks like quite close to the booms there from that